Hey, Erica here, and welcome back to Black Girls Build Too. Today I have an extra special video planned for you guys. I get this question all the time on Instagram. You see all these cool DIY projects that people are doing, and you have a list of things in your house that you wish you could change, but you have no idea where to start. So today is the day I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps that I use to start my DIY journey. And hopefully these steps will help you start your own. So stay tuned. Alright, so for this video, I have broken it down into 5 steps that I use to start my own DIY journey and really how I approach any project that I work on. So, as you saw in my first video, being stuck in quarantine forced me to look around my house and see so many things that I wanted to change or that I wanted to try. So that's what I did. I made a list of everything that I wanted to change in my house. So if you want to add a backsplash in your kitchen or change a light fixture or maybe even build a TV console or something as little as painting a wall, you want to put that all on paper. So after you have it on paper, what you want to do is prioritize that list. So you prioritize it by how soon you want to get those things done. So for us, our staircase was the #1 thing on our list, and it trumped everything else. I knew we needed to do it quickly, so I made sure that that was #1. The next thing you want to prioritize is the difficulty level. So if you've never used a power tool, or if this is your first time DIYing, I wouldn't recommend taking on huge projects right away. And the reason being is the more that you do a DIY project, the more skills you learn and the more you learn from mistakes. So once you start with the smaller projects and work your way up, those larger ones won't be as difficult, and you'll find that they'll turn out a lot better because you worked out all the kinks. Okay, and that brings us to step 2. Once you have that list, and it could be 50 to 100 things, what you want to do is start with the top 3 things on your list. The first step to that is just research. So if you decided that you wanted to do a kitchen backsplash, what you want to do is research that process. Look up as many videos as you can find on kitchen backsplashes and try to find some that resemble your own situation. So, you know the thing that you're watching me on right now, YouTube? It is amazing. So search for videos on YouTube and watch no less than 20 to 30 videos. What you want to know is the process backwards and forwards so that you're comfortable with it. The more that you watch these videos, the more you learn the tools that you'll need or the steps that you need to take to get the project done. This also will tell you if it's something that you want to attempt. Maybe after you watch those videos, you realize that this difficulty levels are higher than I thought it was, and maybe I should wait on this project. So research is going to be your best friend. I literally use YouTube, Pinterest, Google, everything. Everything on the internet was my school, and that's how I took on every project that I did. Okay, so step 3 may be a personal preference for my type A type personality, but step 3 is all about planning and budgeting. So you've researched, you know the process, you can tell everybody the tools you need. Now you need to go out and research those tools. See if they are within your budget. So I'm going to use myself for example. The stairs was the first project that we did, and we had a budget roughly about $1,500 to $1,600. So I looked up those tools that I needed. One was a circular saw, which was pretty inexpensive, and then I needed a nail gun. Now that one was more expensive, so I had to make sure that our budget allowed me to purchase every tool that I needed for the project along with the materials. So that is what you're going to be doing in your planning and budgeting phase. Is if you're on a tight budget, you want to make sure that you're going to have enough room to buy those tools, or maybe buying the tools aren't the right option for you. There are also ways that you can rent tools. So you just need to figure out your situation and see what's going to be best. So if this is a project that you know you're only going to do one time, say if you're only going to do towel one time, maybe there's no need to buy a wet towel saw. Maybe you can rent it from your local Lowe's or your Home Depot. So make sure you explore all of your projects so that you're able to plan and budget accordingly for your project. And another thing to keep in consideration is your material costs. So materials can fluctuate depending on what's going on in the world. So if you aren't aware, lumber prices got pretty high over the summer. So any project that required a lot of wood, I tried to shy away from that. So I'll give you an example. When we did our closet, we bought the wood back in December, January. A sheet of plywood back then was about $45. Now that same sheet of plywood is $60. So when you're buying 5 or 6 sheets, that is going to be a big difference in cost. So that's why I'm probably not going to do another closet anytime soon until the wood comes back down a little bit so that it fits better in my budget. So always look at your material costs and what's going on at the time. So if it's a project that's not super urgent and you can wait, that's always an option. Waiting to see if those prices are going to come down so that you can maximize your budget. Okay, so step 4 is really just finding the time to do the project. So if you're like me, I'm a full-time mother, a full-time worker, a full-time friend, a full-time wife, and everything else in the world. So it's hard to find time to fit these projects in. So if I know that I'm taking on a big project that can interrupt the flow of my house, say for instance those stairs, I use my vacation time. So it worked out where we were already out for Christmas break and I had 2 weeks off of work to get the stairs done. So that's all a part of planning. Make sure that it's something that you'll find time to do. Just like if you hired a contractor that took 4 months to do a project, you don't want to do the same thing to yourself because it will inconvenience you and your family depending on what you're working on. So if you're doing something quick like trim or paint a wall, maybe that's a weekend project. But if it's something that requires more time, you want to make sure that you start that project when you can realistically apply that time to it. So here is the last step. So now that we made a list of all of our dreams and aspirations for our projects, and we researched our butts off to find out how to do the project, and then we planned everything and made a budget that works for us, and then we set aside the time to actually get these things done, the last step is just doing it. And honestly, that's the hardest step. For a lot of people, it is scary. I know for me, it was so scary to pick up this power tool for the first time and go outside of my comfort zone. Just 10 months ago, I could barely work a drill. So now that I'm working these really heavy materials, it is a very scary process. So all that I want you guys to know is that it is so important to be strong and just be courageous. If you have done all the prep work that you need and you watched all the videos and you know the safety and you know the processes, then you just got to step out and do it. And you're going to surprise yourself, because I know I did. When I see the finished products of all the projects that I've done, I am always shocked that I was the one that did them. So that is the rewarding feeling that you'll get from starting your DIY journey. So I hope these steps helped you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments, or if you have other steps that you took to start your DIY journey. I would love to hear about it. So as always, like and subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit the bell so you're notified when I drop another video. And as always, be strong, be courageous, and go out and build some shit.
It worked. I like that.
It stopped, right?
No, it's filming.
Is it?
Yeah.